valuation for the tax year of 2013 will be given by our, what do you do? It's going to be so confused. By our finance director, Janina Gill.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is the second and final public hearing for the required for the fiscal year 2014 proposed tax rate. The city's total operating revenue proposed for fiscal year 2014 is $33,901,762. As you can see, property taxes represent one of the largest revenue sources at 30% of the overall budget for the general fund. In fiscal year 2000, taxable values were approximately $1.4 billion. Since then, Euless experienced a steady increase in assessed values until 2010-2011, when we lost a little more than 8% of our total value. For fiscal year 2014, our assessed value was $2.85 billion, which is an increase of 3% over this past year. This is the highest level the city has seen to this point. Over the same period of time, Euless tax rate has declined from a high of 61.6 cents in 1995 to 51.5 cents in 2000, and has held at 47 cents every year since 2008, and again proposed to remain flat at that 47 cents for next year. If approved as proposed, this would be the 19th year that the tax rate has either been reduced or has been held at least the same. The tax rate that you will adopt will be levied in two components. The first is the interest and sinking, which is required to be levied at a rate sufficient to pay the outstanding debt of the city. The INS rate has decreased just slightly to 10.94 cents. State law requires that we levy a tax rate sufficient to pay the required debt on outstanding bonds, and the remainder of the tax rate is used to fund the city's general fund operations. If you adopt the current and proposed rate of 47 cents, the maintenance and operation portion of the rate will be 36.06 cents per $100 valuation. For comparison purposes, we have used the current year average home value of $145,388 and created a chart to show that the hypothetical tax bill that would have been for each of the years shown. As you can see, in 2000, the average homeowner would have paid $599 in city property taxes. At the proposed rate of 47 cents, the average homeowner would pay $547 for fiscal year 2014, or less than $46 per month. This comparison shows that the average homeowner has either paid the same or less taxes to the city of Euless each of the years shown, and will pay exactly the same taxes in 2014 as he or she had paid in 2013 if the home value remained unchanged. Euless does grant a 20% homestead exemption, which is applied to the home's value to calculate the taxes due. Based on the proposed tax rate of 47 cents, a home of average value would pay $546.66 annually. The average home value for properties occupied by a senior citizen within the city is $128,167, and after applying that same 20% homestead exemption and the $35,000 senior citizen exemption, the taxes owed on the average value of a senior citizen home would be $317.41. This amount may be further reduced by the fact that Euless has passed a freeze on senior citizen taxes. This means that when an individual reaches the age of 65, taxes will be frozen, and the citizen will never pay more than that frozen amount. Some of you may have noticed in the newspaper or on the city's website indicating that we are increasing taxes. This can be very confusing and somewhat misleading. As shown on this slide, the city has held the tax rate flat since fiscal year 2008 and is proposing to hold it flat for 2014, as shown in column A. If your home value has remained unchanged, you will pay the exact same taxes in 2014 as the previous 6 years. However, state law requires each city to do an effective tax rate calculation each year that is based on the total taxable value throughout the city and not on an individual property. This calculation produces a tax rate that theoretically generates the same revenue as the year before. If the city adopts the effective tax rate each year, they do not have to publish any notification or declare that they are increasing taxes. However, if the city adopts a tax rate that generates even $1 more in total tax revenue than the preceding year, the city must publish a notice indicating that it is raising taxes. In column B, you will see that the actual effective tax rate for the last 7 years. Since that effective tax rate is predicated on the previous year's revenues, we've also included column C that recalculates the effective rate, assuming the council had adopted that rate each year. If you look at the chart above in column B, you can see that in 2010 and 2011, again, when the city lost 8% of the taxable value, the city's effective rate was significantly higher than the actual rate adopted by the city council. During this time, the city felt it was important to hold the tax rate stable as to not impose any additional tax burden on the citizens and to cut the budget drastically and reduce personnel by almost 10%. By doing so, as values recovered and the city recouped the revenue lost, we are required to publish these notices that taxes are being increased. As you can see in column C, had we chosen to adopt the effective tax rate, the tax rate for 2014 would be over ½ cent higher than we're currently proposing. The last line of this chart shows that the city's methodology of holding a stable tax rate has resulted in less taxes owed than the effective tax rate would have required under both columns B and C. Long story short, the proposed tax rate is not changing, and if adopted, if your home value remained unchanged, you will pay exactly next year what you paid this current year. Euless, of course, is only one part of the taxing entities in your overall tax bill. The proposed tax rate for all entities for 2014 is $2.50 per $100 valuation for those citizens located in the HEB ISD, and approximately $2.43 for those located in the Grapevine Colleyville ISD. As you can see, the school districts represent the largest portion of your tax bill, which is 55% of the total. The city comprises 19%, the county 11%, hospital district 9%, and the community college is 6%. In closing, we recommend that the tax rate remain unchanged at 47 cents per $100 valuation. This is a public hearing, and the vote on the tax rate is scheduled for next Tuesday, September 10th, 2013 at 7 p.m. in these city council chambers.
Thank you, Ms. Euless. We're in a public hearing, and I'll ask if we have any opponents for the tax rate. I'm scared to say this one. Do we have any opponents? That's what you're coming down to speak for?
Neither or not.
Sometimes it's supposed to be possible.
Once again, Carl Easton, 1005 Fayette Drive, Euless, Texas. Overall, I think the tax rate is fair, and it's been good that you've held it steady over the years. Of course, it shows about $100 difference over the last 5 years, whether you've stayed with the effective rate or this rate, which still adds up to be some dollars. So in that regard, I'm glad you stayed the way you did, because it did save us some money. Last week, I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying attention this time, but last week, I know you showed a slide that says your tax dollars, the $45.55, supported the library. Did you show that here just over there? No. Okay. That was, anyway, it broke out that it basically implied that my tax dollars, property tax dollars, supported this whole list of things, which included the library, included the police department, included that. But you didn't break out what percentage that my property tax dollars actually covered. I should have brought that slide with me if I got it on tape. But your library, my property tax funds how much of the library? Anybody know?
No. Because we also add other taxes with it, we deposit our savings.
Well, I know the EDC money, which is sales tax money, funds a large portion of the library.
Correct.
But that slide right there kind of implied that my property tax did. My $45.55 a month said it supported the library. Well, it does support. If I give $1 to
It doesn't say it supports 100% of the library.
Well, I know, but
Or have attended the police department.
But there are people in the audience that said, wow, you know, but I just think there's need to be some clarification, if you use that slide again, that my property tax funds this stuff, what percentage? You know, in fact, when you say those items right there, the library, you pump a bunch of sales tax money into the general fund, in addition to my property tax money, so that even reduces the amount of property tax that goes to the library. That's under 50% if you calculate it. And you're saying it supports it. Well, it does. If I get $1 6 stones, I support 6 stones, I guess. But that's just my critique on that one slide. I appreciate the tax rate, and I hope you'll strive in the future to even reduce it further. Thank you.
Do we have anyone else that would like to speak at the public hearing? Now, I'll close the public hearing, and I will announce that the vote on the tax rate will take place on Tuesday, September the 10th, 2013, at 7 p.m. in the City Council Chambers, 201 North Exeter, Euless, Texas. If we have nothing else, the meeting is adjourned.